The stars above Xivari Prime were cold and distant, just like its people. Emotions were forbidden. Love was weakness. And for women like Commander Xivari, everything in life was duty, especially reproduction. Xivari stood tall, her silver armor shining under the sterile lights of the medical dome. Her violet skin glowed softly, and her glowing eyes showed no fear. She had been chosen for the interspecies breeding program, a great honor. She was told it would help strengthen the future of the Xivari bloodline. It was only logic. Nothing more. But when the transport doors opened and she saw the human male for the first time, something strange happened. He smiled. The human was not like the warriors she had trained with. His body was not bulky like her own kind. He was lean, relaxed, and dressed in soft earth fabrics. His dark eyes looked into hers, not as if she were a mission, but as if she were a person. "You must be Xivari," he said, offering his hand. "I'm Eli. It's nice to meet you." Xivari looked at his outstretched hand. Xivarins did not touch unless it was for combat or procreation. She hesitated but finally reached out. His touch was warm, gentle. "Physical contact is not required," she said firmly, pulling her hand back. "This is a breeding assignment, not a friendship." Eli laughed softly. "I know, but it doesn't hurt to be kind, right?" Kind? That word had no meaning in her language. Later, they were taken to a shared living chamber. 2 beds, 1 room, no guards. The scientists told them they had 1 week to complete the task. Xivari remained quiet. She followed her orders, but inside she felt confused. Eli wasn't doing what she expected. He didn't jump to touch her. He didn't even mention mating. Instead, he made tea and asked about her planet. He talked about stars, music, earth animals, and how humans laugh for no reason. "I thought this was supposed to be biological," Xivari finally said one night, sitting across from him. "You're not performing the task." Eli tilted his head. "You mean jumping into bed with you the first day? That's not how humans do things, not if we care. It's not just biology. It's trust, comfort, choice." "Choice?" Xivari frowned. "There is no choice. I was assigned." "And I wasn't forced," he replied. "I volunteered. I wanted to meet someone different, maybe even make a real connection." That word again. Connection. No one in Xivari Command ever said that word. As the week passed, Xivari began to notice odd things. Her chest felt tight when he laughed. Her fingers itched to touch him when he sat close. Once, their hands brushed while passing a drink, and her heart beat faster. This wasn't supposed to happen. Her body was reacting in new ways, but not for reproduction, for comfort, for closeness. She began to ask questions. "What is love?" she asked. Eli blinked. "You've never heard that word? It's not used on my world." Eli sat beside her, his voice gentle. "Love is when you care about someone deeply, not just their body, but their smile, their mind, their happiness. Love is wanting someone to be okay, even if you get nothing back." Xivari was silent. That was dangerous thinking. On Xivari Prime, that kind of belief would get you punished. And yet, her chest ached in a way she couldn't explain. That night, as they sat together, Xivari leaned in close. She studied his face, every tiny wrinkle, every movement. "Why do you smile so much?" she asked softly. "Because I like being around you," Eli said. She froze. "Why?" He looked at her seriously. "Because you're brave. Because you're curious. Because you're more than just a mission to me." Her heart pounded. Mission. That's what this was supposed to be. So why did she suddenly not want it to end? But just as things grew quiet between them, a red light flashed in the corner of the room. Surveillance alert. Someone was watching. Before she could speak, a robotic voice said, "Warning. Emotional bonding detected. Violation of Xivari protocol. Correction team en route." Xivari's breath caught. Her people were coming, not to monitor, but to separate. The red light continued flashing on the wall. Commander Xivari sat frozen, her sharp mind racing. She had followed every order since birth. She had never broken rules. But now, her heart felt something new. And for the first time, she didn't want to obey. Eli stood beside her, confused. "What's happening?" "They are coming," she said coldly, though her voice shook. "My people, they will end this." "And what?" he asked. "This connection." She didn't mean to say the word, but it slipped out. Less than an hour later, the door opened, not with force, but silence. 2 Siren agents entered, tall, armored, no emotions on their faces. One of them, Officer Telak, gave Xivari a cold look. "Commander, you are ordered to step outside for emotional reprogramming. Your mind has been corrupted by unnecessary bonding." Eli stepped forward. "Wait, she didn't do anything wrong?" "Silence, human," the second agent snapped. "You were meant to provide genetic material, nothing more." Eli clenched his fists. "She's not a lab rat. She's a person." For a moment, even the agents looked stunned. No one had ever spoken about a Siren officer like that before, especially not a human. But what happened next was even more surprising. Xivari stepped in front of Eli. She faced her own people and said, "I will not go." The agents exchanged a glance. "You are under orders," Telak said. "I have completed the mission," Xivari replied, "but I refuse to return emotionless." "That was not part of the plan." "Plans can change," she said. Eli looked at her amazed. The woman who had once treated him like a science experiment was now protecting him. "We will report this to the High Council," the agents warned. "You will lose your rank." "Then I will lose it," she answered calmly. The agents turned and left without a fight, but the danger was far from over. That night, Xivari sat on the floor, quiet, her back against the cold wall. She looked different now, softer somehow, yet stronger. Eli sat beside her. "Why did you do that?" he asked. "I don't know," she whispered. "But when they tried to take me, I didn't feel fear. I felt anger, and when they tried to insult you, I felt something I've never felt before." "What?" "Protective." Eli smiled gently. "That's a good feeling." She turned to him. "Is this what humans call caring?" "It is," he said softly. "You cared, and you didn't even realize it." Over the next few days, something inside Xivari changed. She no longer moved like a soldier. She moved like someone discovering herself. She asked questions. Hundreds. What is dating? Why do humans hold hands? Why do you keep cooking meals when I don't eat much? Eli always answered patiently. He taught her how humans used kindness to build trust, how intimacy wasn't just about bodies, it was about souls. He never touched her unless she allowed it. And slowly, she began to want it. One evening, she surprised him. She reached out and took his hand. Her fingers were cold at first, then relaxed. He didn't speak. He didn't need to. Later that night, Xivari did something unthinkable for a Siren. She laughed. Eli had told a silly joke about space goats and broken translators. It wasn't even that funny. But her chest felt light, and the sound just escaped her. Her own laugh shocked her more than anyone. "I made a sound." "You did." Eli grinned. "It was beautiful. I didn't know I could." Most people don't, until someone gives them a reason. She looked at him for a long time. "You are not like others." "And you're not either," he said. But just when peace was settling in, a hidden message blinked across Xivari's comlink. Emotional corruption confirmed. Extraction team arriving in 48 hours. Prepare for behavioral reset. She stared at the words. They were going to erase her memories. Everything she felt. Everything she had learned. Including Eli. She turned toward the sleeping human beside her and made a decision. She would not let them take this from her. The night was quiet, but Xivari couldn't sleep. She stood near the window, her arms folded, staring at the twin moons above the human colony. Her thoughts raced like warships. The message from Xivari Command was still flashing on her device. Emotional contamination confirmed. Memory reset scheduled. Subject will be collected in 48 Earth hours. She had 48 hours before her mind was wiped clean, before they would erase everything she had felt for Eli. She clenched her fists. She wouldn't let them. Behind her, Eli stirred in his bed. "Xivari?" he asked, sleep still in his voice. She turned slowly. Her voice was calm but low. "They are coming for me. They will erase me." He sat up quickly, alarmed. "What do you mean, erase you?" "They will remove every memory of this assignment, everything about you, about us. I will forget that I ever cared." Eli stood and walked to her. He wanted to hold her, but didn't. Not until she chose. "I won't let that happen," he whispered. Xivari looked up at him. "You can't stop them. But maybe I can remember enough to resist it." Eli tilted his head. "What do you mean?" "I want to feel," she said. "Not just remember facts. I want my body to remember warmth, safety, closeness. Teach me." Eli looked into her glowing violet eyes. He understood. This wasn't about desire. It was about survival. He sat down on the floor, cross-legged. "Come here," he said gently. Xivari lowered herself beside him. They sat close but not touching. He picked up a soft cloth blanket. "This is something we use for comfort," he explained. He draped it lightly around her shoulders. "Soft things help the body relax." She ran, her hands across it. "It's pleasant." "Good," he said. "Now touch your own heartbeat." She placed her hand on her chest. Her heart beat faster than usual. "Your body already remembers me," Eli said softly. "It's reacting because you feel safe around me." And possibly to erase everything she had just begun to feel. She blinked. "Yes, I do." He gently took her hand. This time she didn't pull away. "Human touch isn't just physical," he said. "It's how we speak without words." He placed her hand over his chest. She could feel his heartbeat, steady and calm. "It's strong," she said. "It's calm because you're here." Calm. Her throat tightened. "Why do you do this? Why show me this gentle world?" "Because I want you to know there's more than duty," he replied. "You're more than a soldier. You're a soul." Her eyes filled with something new. Wetness. "What is this?" she asked, touching her cheek. "You're crying," Eli said. "It happens when we feel too much. It's not pain, but it hurts." He smiled. "That's how we grow. Through feeling." They lay side by side on the floor under the blanket, just holding hands. No words. Just breath. Xivari closed her eyes and whispered, "If they erase me, promise you will try to find me again." Eli turned to face her. "I will, even if it takes my whole life." A silence passed, heavy and warm. Xivari pressed her forehead against his. It was not a kiss, but it was more powerful. "I have never felt alive before," she whispered. "Only now, with you." But outside, in the black sky above the colony, a silent ship entered orbit, Xivari cloaking tech humming quietly. They had arrived early. The night air was still, but Xivari suddenly opened her eyes. Something had changed. She could feel it, not with her ears or eyes, but inside her chest. A disturbance, a pressure, a warning. "They're here," she whispered. Eli, half asleep beside her, sat up. "Now?" "They came early," she said, standing quickly. "I don't know how, but I can feel them." Eli moved to the window and pulled the curtain just slightly. Far in the sky, a shimmer in the stars. Faint, but too smooth, too artificial. "A cloaked ship, what do we do?" he asked. Xivari looked down at her hands. She was shaking, not from fear but from rage. "They want to steal what I've learned," she said, "but I won't let them." She went to her bag and pulled out a small device, a thin silver band. Eli recognized it. "What's that?" "A neural core blocker," she said. "It's illegal on Xirin worlds. It can stop mind scans for a short time." "Will it hurt you?" "It will hurt more to forget you," she replied. She pressed it against her temple. It clicked and vanished beneath her skin. Eli moved closer. "You don't have to do this alone." "I know," she said, her voice trembling. "That's why I want you with me. I want to remember this moment. I want it to be real, even if I'm taken." He touched her cheek gently. "You've already changed everything, Xivari," he said. "You don't need to prove anything." She leaned into his touch. "I'm not proving anything. I'm fighting for something." They didn't run. They didn't hide. Instead, they sat in the center of the room, hand in hand, when the door opened. Two Xirin guards stepped in, cold, emotionless, in perfect sync. Behind them, a tall figure in crimson armor. "Counselor Valor, the enforcer of Xirin law." "Commander Xivari," Valor said. "You have violated emotional purity regulations. Your memories will be erased, and this facility cleansed." Eli stood. "Don't touch her." Valor looked at him like an insect. "This is not your concern, human. Your role was completed the moment genetic material was collected." Xivari stood beside Eli, tall and unshaking. "You are wrong," she said. "This man gave me something no Xirin ever could. Emotion, peace, meaning." Valor narrowed his eyes. "You speak the words of infection." "No," she said. "I speak the words of freedom." Valor stepped forward, raising a memory extractor. A humming device meant to rewrite her brain, remove every trace of her feelings. Xivari didn't flinch. "You will not take this from me." She pulled Eli close and kissed him. Not for show, not for rebellion, but for truth. Valor stopped mid-step. Even the guards seemed confused. "You are contaminated," Valor whispered. "I am enlightened," she replied, and then something happened no one expected. One of the Xirin guards, Unit 6, lowered his weapon. "She speaks truth," he said softly. Valor turned sharply. "Unit 6, that is treason." But the other guard paused too. For the first time, emotion flickered in their mechanical voices. "She has changed. She is more." Valor raised the extractor, but Eli moved fast. He grabbed the device and slammed it against the floor. It sparked and broke. Xivari stepped between them. "You are no longer welcome here." Valor growled. "You would betray your kind for him?" She looked at Eli. "No, I would save my kind, starting with myself." The guards didn't stop her when she and Eli walked past them. They didn't move, and Valor didn't follow. He knew. The infection had already begun. The cold morning air felt different now. Xivari walked beside Eli through the silent hallways of the human outpost. Her hand was still wrapped around his, tightly, as if letting go would break the new reality she had found. The Xirin guards didn't chase them. Not yet. But she knew Valor wouldn't stop. He would return with more soldiers, with stronger tech. He would wipe her mind by force if needed, and worse, he would punish Eli. "I have to leave," she said, suddenly stopping in her tracks. Eli turned to her. "What?" "No. We just got through this together. If I stay, they will hurt you. They will hurt everyone here, but if I run, maybe I can draw them away." Eli grabbed her shoulders. "You think I'll just let you go? Not after everything we've shared?" "I don't want to leave," she said, eyes shining. "But I'd rather lose myself in the stars than see you harmed." Later that day, Xivari met with the colony's flight officer, an old man named Hal. His left eye was cybernetic. He had seen too many wars, but even he looked surprised when she asked him for something rare. "A hull glider?" he repeated. "That thing's got no weapons, no shields, and barely holds together." "That's why I need it," she replied. "It won't be traced. And if I fail, it won't cost much to lose me. Hal squinted. You don't talk like a Siren anymore. I'm not one, she said simply. Not fully. Not after meeting him. Hal sighed. Then you better take this too. He handed her a tiny black cube. What is it? She asked. Human memory anchor, he said. If they erase you, this might help bring it back. If not, maybe your soul will remember even if your brain doesn't. Eli stood at the landing, bay as she prepared to leave. The wind tossed his hair. His face was calm, but his eyes held a storm. I hate this, he said. I know, she whispered. So do I. They stood in silence. The engines buzzed. Finally, he pulled something from his pocket. A simple string necklace, handmade, old, maybe worthless. This was my mother's, he said. I want you to have it. Xivari took it slowly. Why? Because if they take everything from you, maybe this will help you find your way back to me. She nodded and placed it around her neck. It didn't match her armor. It didn't matter. It was the most beautiful thing she had ever worn. She turned toward the glider. The doors were starting to close. Eli called out, voice trembling. Xivari. She turned. I love you, he said. The words echoed in the hangar like a thunderstorm. Her lips parted. Her heart felt like it was breaking and flying at the same time. I don't know the human word for this feeling, she said, tears rising. But whatever it is, I feel it too. Then she was gone. The stars were endless. She flew alone through asteroid fields, back alleys of space, broken wormholes, anywhere she could vanish. The Siren tracking drones came close many times. But Xivari was too skilled, too fast, too determined. She flew until her body ached, until her mind blurred. But she refused to stop, until one day they found her. It wasn't an army, just one sleek Siren cruiser, but it had a memory reprogramming beam, strong enough to wipe her from the inside out. They didn't send warnings this time. They fired. The beam hit her glider and everything went dark. Inside the tiny cockpit, Xivari screamed, but not from pain, from loss. Darkness. Cold. Silence. Xivari floated in nothing. She couldn't move, couldn't speak, couldn't remember. Her mind was a black ocean, endless and quiet. But far inside, something small still burned. A flicker, a whisper, a warmth that refused to die. She woke up slowly in a white room. The ceiling lights were soft. Strange, not Siren, not human, something else. Her body was weak. Her memories, empty. A female voice spoke gently. She's awake. Xivari tried to sit up, but her muscles trembled. Two strangers helped her, one human, one alien. Both wore white coats. Where am I? She asked. Her voice cracked. You're safe, the human said. You were found floating near the edge of neutral space, barely alive. Your brain suffered a direct memory wipe. My name, she whispered. I don't know my name. The alien nurse looked sad. We don't know either. You had no ID, only this. She held up a necklace, a thin, handmade string with a single wooden bead. The moment she touched it, her heart skipped. Her breath caught. Images, flashes, rushed through her like wind. A soft voice, a warm hand, a promise made beneath starlight, a human's voice saying, I love you. She didn't know his name, but her soul did. She stayed at the clinic for several days. Doctors came and went. They called. Her subject rose because she had been found holding a flower someone had placed on her bed. A human habit, they said. She couldn't explain why she cried the first time she saw the petals. She didn't understand the dreams, him smiling, him cooking, him holding her hand. But she felt them, and feelings, they told her, were real, even if memories weren't. One day she wandered into the garden outside the clinic. She sat by a fountain and stared at the sky. 2 moons. Not Siren, not Earth, just another forgotten planet in the galaxy. But even here, she felt something pull at her chest, a quiet ache, as if her heart remembered a place her mind had lost. A young child ran up to her, a little alien girl with bright green eyes. "Lady Rose," she said cheerfully, using the name others had given her. "Why are you sad?" "I don't know," Xivari replied truthfully. "Maybe you miss someone," Xivari blinked. "Maybe I do." "Then find them." The child smiled. "That's what my mama says. If your heart is loud enough, it will lead you home." That night, she sat by the window, holding the necklace again. She traced the bead with her fingers. Suddenly, a small click. Hidden inside the bead was a memory cube. She gasped. Her fingers shook as she slid it into the nearby console. A video blinked to life. It was him, the human. His voice was soft. "Xivari, if you're seeing this, then they tried to erase you, but I know you. I know your heart is stronger than any machine." He smiled. "I made this just in case. Just in case you forgot me. My name is Eli Morgan. You once told me I made you feel alive. You made me believe in love." Xivari's hand flew to her chest, her heart was pounding. "I'm on Earth Colony 7 if you remember anything, even a spark. Come find me." The video ended, but her soul had already decided. She stood the next morning with her coat wrapped, tight eyes burning with new fire. "I want a ship," she told the nurse, "to go where?" She smiled. "Home. Or maybe, to where my heart was born." The stars stretched wide and endless as the small ship moved through space. Xivari, or Rose, as she was still called, sat at the control panel, her eyes fixed on the map. Her mind didn't remember Earth Colony 7, but her heart did. The memory cube had lit a fire in her soul, and now it was guiding her across the stars. Not for war. Not for orders, but for him. For the man who taught her what touch meant, what warmth meant, what love felt like. Days passed. She slept in the cockpit, waking from dreams that weren't just dreams anymore. They were echoes of what was lost. A smile, a gentle voice, a string necklace in her hand. She replayed Eli's message again and again. Each time it didn't hurt less. Each time she wanted more. Finally, after crossing 3 sectors and hiding from Siren patrols, she saw it on the screen. Earth Colony 7. The green planet shimmered in orbit, small but alive. Her hands trembled as she prepared for landing. "Please," she whispered to no one. "Let him be there." The colony gates were high and guarded. The security bot scanned her. "State your name." She paused, then lifted her chin proudly. "Xivari, of Siren Prime. And I'm here for someone." "Who?" She held up the necklace. "I don't know if he remembers me, but I need to try." The bot blinked, then sent a silent message across the internal network. Inside the colony, Eli Morgan was in the garden. He had aged slightly, a little more stubble, a little less sleep. He never stopped waiting. He planted roses every week. One for every day she'd been gone. He didn't know why. He just had to. The AI assistant beeped in his ear. "Visitor at the gate, Siren female, unarmed, asking for you." Eli's heart stopped. He dropped the shovel and ran. When he saw her, time froze. She stood there, hands shaking, eyes wide, armor faded. But it was her. Even if her hair was shorter, even if her posture was different, it was her. "Xivari?" He called out. She blinked, then smiled. And in that moment, it all came back. She ran to him. He caught her in his arms. No words, just heartbeat, just tears. They held each other for a long time, under the setting sun. She pulled away just enough to whisper, "They tried to erase you, but I remembered how you made me feel." I waited, Eli said, voice broken. Every day. You taught me something greater than my whole world, she said. You gave me pleasure, not just in body, but in being alive. Years passed. Xivari never returned to Siren Prime. Instead, she stayed on Earth Colony 7. She trained to help others like her, aliens who had been used, erased, abandoned. Together with Eli, she built a center called the Garden of Feeling Aliens. And humans came from across the stars, not for war, but for healing, for connection, for love. And though her past was mostly forgotten, her present was full of life. Every night as they lay under the stars, Eli would whisper, "Do you still remember?" And Xivari would answer, "Not with my mind, but with my soul, every single moment." She had once been chosen to breed without feeling, but now she chose to love, with everything she was, because one human had shown her. Procreation was survival, but pleasure was freedom.